afternoon, everyone. Apologies, right? So I was in the meeting and I am seeing the time coming up. I'm seeing, wait a minute, to 2 o'clock, not seeing anyone. So I'm wondering, well, like folks not joining today. So here's what happened. The correct meeting was open, but the meeting ID, the wrong ID was actually put on the flyer, right? So that is what happened. So the correct room was open. It's just that the wrong ID was shared on the flyer. So folks, apologies for that. All right. But thank you. It is 2:10. We are rectified. Folks are in the room. People are still joining, right? People, yep, folks are still coming in. All right, so let me officially welcome all of you. My name is Kerwin Joseph, and on behalf of the entire Homegrown family, the entire Homegrown team, let me say good afternoon and welcome to another episode of Bringing Agriculture Home. This week, once again, we have an entrepreneur spotlight. All right, we will be interviewing the folks from Conscious Agricultural Sourcing Agency today. And we are already 10 minutes into the session. So let's get straight into it. I would ask that everyone else, you just keep your mics muted while we conduct this interview with these wonderful folks from CASA and the CASA family. So, Mr. and Mrs. CASA, are you all ready for us? You're still muted.
Okay, so hi, Kerwin and viewers.
Okay, great. All right. So we are on. Apologies to you, Casa, for leaving you locked outside. I don't know what kind of behavior is that. I have a party and I leave the gate locked.
Yeah,
right?
Mr. Casa is redirecting everyone right now to with the new link that you sent us.
Yes, so I give you all extra work to do. Apologies again for that. I don't know what happened. Well, now I know what happened. I just, probably in the haste, I copied the wrong number. So for those of you who use Zoom, when you're setting up your meetings, there are two numbers. One is your personal number and the other one is the meeting number. Right, so that's where the error took place. So I'm still admitting people. All right, folks are still joining. Let me just allow these people to officially log in because I want to head straight into it. Right, apologies. Okay, folks, so here's what, as we go ahead with the presentation, any questions, you all can type the questions in the chat. What I would also do, Casa, I would ask that you type your contact information in the chat, right? Before we get started. So for those who would want to get in contact with you, they can do that. And let me know when you are finished typing that so we can, okay, great. So that's the number. And of course, folks can also reach you on your Facebook page and just type in the name so folks can look you up there as well. Right. So as we said, this is our entrepreneur spotlight. At Homegrown, our focus is growing minds, food, and businesses. So we are passionate about agriculture. We are passionate about entrepreneurship. And it really is a pleasure to be able to connect with the folks from CASA today. So for those of you who would have been with Homegrown from since 2018, you know we would have highlighted a few other hydroponics companies, right? We keep saying at Homegrown, we are about what? Collaboration, not competition. So we want to create a platform to showcase our people and see how we can really connect and work together, because we do have a great challenge on our hands. And with that being said, I would ask Mrs. Casa to officially introduce herself to the lovely crowd we have here today, all the Homegrown family, and I'm sure some of the Casa family is on here as well. So introduce yourself and let's get our interview started.
Okay, so hello again, everyone. I am Mrs. Ramdas from the Casa family, as Kerwin puts it. All right. My husband, Mr. Ramdas, is going to be joining me here right now. Come and introduce yourself here, honey. And also, he's still sending links to people who he had asked to join in. All right. So forgive him. Yeah. Forgive him. All right.
No problem.
Okay. So CASA is about hydroponics. CASA is about family. CASA is about the innovator, Mr. Ramdas, agriculture. He's about, you joining, honey? Yeah, come in, come have a seat. There we go. All right, Mr. Ramdas, everyone.
Good afternoon, everyone.
Mr. Ramdas.
Good. Navin, how are you?
All right,
everybody, welcome.
Nice, excellent. Okay, so here's what. So we're going to be talking about hydroponics today. Of course, we want some of the backstory, but just very quickly, give us a nice layman's definition of what hydroponics is, and then we would I would ask you to go into the backstory a little bit very quickly, and tell us what was your transition, right? I know you have a history in agriculture. Tell us why it is you made that switch into hydroponics.
All right,
but
so
give us the definition first.
Well, everybody knows me as Das, not the Ramdas, but as Das in the business world, the agriculture world. I've been involved in agriculture more than 20 odd years. I was managing 11 acres of land at one point on behalf of my cousin who was bedridden. So managing the crops, managing workers, managing the salaries, things like that. But what kept affecting us on a yearly basis was the floods and the loss that we incurred with each year coming and more rain falling. Less work is being done on the drainage. We encountered a lot of losses. So I decided to walk away and hand it over to my nephews and them, who still has about 4 acres. We're talking about more than 10 years. I handed it over to them. 4 acres active right now. I told myself I would go back to farming when something, alternative came about, as in planting above the ground or something like that. At the time, aquaponics came my way. That is my first love. I am qualified in aquaponics. And hydroponic was a natural progression into hydroponic as the easiest science into it.
Right? All right. Now, before you run ahead, I know, like I used to tell one of our presenters last year, he does move like a jet plane, right? So for folks who might be very new and don't know what is aquaponics, right, just a very brief definition.
Aquaponics is a symbiotic relationship between plants and the fishes. So what you would have, you're using the water from where the fish is swimming to feed to the plant through a nitrification process. So you're getting the same nutrients you're getting as if it was in the ground, just through the fish. So at the end of your cycle, you would have plants and you would have fish.
Nice.
Right? Hydroponics now, the difference between hydroponics and aquaponics, you just have to match the nutrients the plant needs minus the fish. There will be no fish involved. There will just be nutrients you add into the water, managing a pH, a ppm, and with the respective to your respective crop. Now, before I know, yes, everybody's saying this guy called Navin Bihari. That is someone who was instrumental to take the leap in this direction. He's also known in the country as Trini Landman, and he is a national, or was a former national runner. We would bring him on shortly, and he has been instrumental in my coming from transition, from just doing the traditional, from the aquaponics into the hydroponics. After we met through doing social work, and you know, at this point, I would like you to bring him in. Let he give you a little pointers as to how everything got started.
All right, Mr. Landman, sir, you can unmute.
All you can see that's my brother, right? All you see the haircut.
You hear me?
Yes,
Yeah.
loud and clear.
All right, well, I just put on the side of the road there. I was driving. All right, well, Ramdas, Mr. and Mrs. Casa, I mean, I met them through my own hydroponics intervention and what I was doing. I just stumbled upon hydroponics about a couple of years ago. I fell in love with it. Again, my game is real estate, buying and selling properties. But I had a piece of property. I had done a transaction with some guys from UE, and they just wanted to play with some systems. And I had the land, I had a lot of money to burn. So part of the deal that we work out, I just let them run wild with their imaginations. And then the ideas and the concepts. I mean, when you're attracted to something and when you're doing something, you naturally attract the people and new ideas come to you. So the concepts that we use now, we came up with is with the cocoa peat in the pipes. And again, my first love and my love for my business is real estate. When I was doing the hydroponics, I totally gave up my real estate and other businesses just to focus on this. And, you know, eventually, you know, you always want to go back to what naturally for me is real estate. So at the same time, in that transition, while building systems, one of my goals for this whole project was initially to, you know, let students, especially students, install a hydroponic system in every school in Trinidad and Tobago. Because when you think about agriculture, people think it's out in the fields and, you know, hard labor, hot sun, just like Ramdas was saying what he was introduced to and what he did all the time. And you know, in that time, the transition from that and making that work is when COVID started. But just before COVID is when Mr. Ramdas and his wife came to me, and his passion and his love for this and his 100% dedication is something that I totally endorse. And he never said no to anything that I asked him. We had a event that we had sponsored, and he was like actually there to present it. And his knowledge about agriculture, it was like just natural. I mean, I don't know if he was doing this forever, but you could tell when somebody have a passion for something. You know, like every plant we plant. When I used to do it, we tell the plant, "I love you." You know, people might think that might be funny, but everything is an energy, and we live by, you know, just like energy, frequency, and vibration, and everything. Once you put your energy and vibration to something, and when I met Mr. Ramdas and his wife, the passion and love that they had, it wasn't any second thoughts to hand it over to them and let them run with it, because I know personally in my heart, I didn't have the total dedication to this because I wanted to focus totally on my real estate and personal development. So you would see, I mean, in his plans and in his product and his concepts, it keep improving, and that's what Trinidad needs. And I wish that he could follow through, and I would support him and CASA and in anything that they do to get one of these systems or model system in every school in Trinidad and Tobago. And I think it's a wonderful idea that this man and his wife could just run with this. I always told him that as he grew, and he grew so fast in this business, that he's going to get a lot of haters, but that's part of life. and when you're growing. So, I mean, I appreciate he's a total genuine person when it comes to, I mean, he never forget me and the contribution that I made towards him. You know, sometimes sometimes you help people and they just leave you on the side. But he's somebody that even though I'm not involved in hydroponics anymore, he never yet leave me on the limelight, will never mention my name in anything that he has done. And I totally appreciate that. And CASA, I totally endorse their product and everything that they do from now and the future. So for him inviting me to this webinar, I mean, totally appreciative, and I send my blessings to them all the time. So thank you, Mr. Ramdas, Mrs. Ramdas, and for this platform.
Thanks, bro.
All right.
Appreciate
Excellent.
it.
Excellent. A wonderful endorsement there. And I truly believe this is why, this is why that connection really took place. Because, you know, when we first started and we keep talking homegrown family, that is the type of vibe that we want, right? When you understand what family means, it's, for me, family is a community really working together to build each other up, right? And to be there to encourage and support each other. And, you know, I think it was just really a natural fit for us and the CASA family. So you see the whole family unit just keep growing and getting bigger, right? And as I said, that shout out to our Tobago family, you know, all the folks across the region who would already be connecting with us. All right. So here's what I want to do now.
Before you go further, I saw this individual has his camera on. His name is Mr. Noel Phillip. He's shaking his head right now, but this guy was the person who was instrumental in sponsoring a system for the Carrera convict prison. He invited me to come on the island and teach and train officers and inmates. I mean, while I have him, I know he's a very busy person, and I know we're jumping, we're not going to according to the program, but I would really like to hear, and you could ask him some question why it is he decided to go this way. Mr. Phillip, I know I'm putting you on the spot, but we bred for that. Right? You could all mute your mic.
A pleasant good afternoon to everyone. You all hear me?
Afternoon, sir.
Yes, loud and clear.
Right. I would have been transferred to Carrera Prison as the superintendent for that station. Once I got there, there was a great need for an improvement in the quality of and quantity of the food that the inmates were getting, because that is a station where you have a lot of older inmates because of the length of their sentences. And with that, they had a lot of nutritional needs that were not being met. And I decided to try to see what we could do to improve their situation. Right? I contacted Mr. Ramdas because I knew that he was into agriculture and so on. We had some previous discussions. And basically, the idea to set up something started there. And I took all the advice he had to give. He was the one really instrumental in actually setting the system up. We started more or less like a trial and error, because we were not sure. I wasn't sure what I wanted. I just knew I wanted to improve the situation. And as we started growing, we started adding, and eventually what we ended up with was a self-sustaining system that catered for all the nutritional needs. We experimented with quite a few things. I had a lot of plans for there, but unfortunately I had to leave. We did grow some carrots, broccoli, all of the seasonings, the lettuce, the pak choy, tomatoes, pimentos, ginger, right? A lot of stuff that improved the diet of the inmates, as well as what we did from the very beginning was included the inmates in the process. So they started learning about the systems, how to build them, the plumbing, the electrical, the mixing. We ran a sealing course for them. So it was an avenue for them to get involved in something constructive after they leave, right? Part of the thing was to show them that it doesn't have to be fancy, and you could utilize whatever materials at your disposal, right? Mr. Ramdas would have spent a lot of time showing them how to troubleshoot systems, how to use other mediums, like we had used the PVC, but I think he had introduced the bamboo, you know, so that they wouldn't feel that it was beyond them to get involved in agriculture after leaving the prison. Right, so in a nutshell, that is the backstory there.
All right, excellent.
Thanks.
Okay, so folks, let me just drop a little disclaimer here. I no longer know how this program is going to proceed. Apparently, we have been hijacked from Team CASA. All right. But just to bring things a little in perspective, because people might hear Carrera and still not really have an idea. What is the conditions there in terms of growing food? I mean, where is Carrera? Is Carrera somewhere in the middle of the country, in the middle of, you know, where is Carrera located, for those that may not know?
I would send that question to Mr. Philip.
All right. Carrera is a maximum security prison. It's an island prison located on the northwestern peninsula of Trinidad and Tobago, of Trinidad, actually.
Okay.
It is like a rock out in the sea.
Right. Yeah.
You have vegetation. The soil is average. You have a lot of rainfall, right? We get a fair amount of rainfall there. There's not much depth in some places, so you start digging down and you hit rock.
Okay.
Right. However, if you're prepared to do the work, you could do traditional agriculture there. It means that you would have to, everything would have to come in by boat. So you'd have to bring in all your fertilizers and everything that you would need.
Yeah.
Right. Because it's a rock, it's not flat. And the areas that you would have to plant, you have to access them by climbing to the top.
Right.
So it's a lot of manual work if you go traditional, and we have done the traditional as well to get other persons involved, and to, you know, that may all a person might have when they leave. So we didn't want to actually abandon that. Right, so we did encourage that traditional farming as well for the inmates there.
All right, so folks, so you heard that, right? So you're dealing with rock, you're dealing with sea blast, right?
A lot of birds. A lot of birds.
Right? So rock, sea blast, real birds. You're basically out in the sea, and innovation was taking place there. And if we realize a pattern, it seems that all along the way, Mr. Das is always helping or trying to help someone, right? So now I would like us to get into the actual innovative process. And how did you move from where you started to what we have now as the CASA range of products, in particular, the multi-crop and multi-tier design? All right. So walk us through that innovative process.
Well, Kerwin, as I said, is a natural progression from stage to stage, right? Basically, when somebody come to us or we are in talks with someone, we find out what is their needs and wants, what they expect, what they want at a certain time, what is the expectation. Basically, we would advise them certain ways. The first thing we do advise them is to look around on the market. There are other companies out there. However, with CASA, the support that you get after you buy something from us is phenomenal. You and other persons listening could vouch for that. The knowledge you get is like a family. It's more like a family, right? So having started with a single tier system, you know, there are different types of hydroponic practice. The drip to waste, the NFT, the cracky style, deep water culture, touch bucket system, you understand? That's just to name some. What happened is we have done all, studied all, and the drip to waste. We decide to, you know, to go more in, guide people more into the drip to waste because the risk factors to mitigate is less, far less. So for the drip to waste, you would have for one system, you would have your pump on 6 minutes for the day. Whereas in a recycling NFT system, you would have it on close to 12 to 14 hours a day. So you understand how much electricity you're using. In a recycling system, if you happen to get a infection on the plants, and it will travel the whole length of pipe, contaminate the tank and your pump. So basically, if you get a bad contamination, all your plants will be contaminated. Whereas in the drip to waste, if you have a contamination, you just pull off that single plant, spray some Python 27 and replant in the same spot. You understand? So within the drip to waste, we use the cocoa peat with perlite, which is our rooting medium. Cocoa peat is a coconut core. Bring it in from India. You can get it on the market here. And what it does is help keeps the moisture to the plant roots. And it acts as a rooting medium. So the plant does not blow off the system or shake, right? You ask a question, hydroponic. Hydroponic is the growing up plants without the use of soil. What is soil? Soil is a combination of sand, silt, and stone, clay, stone, right? So we're not using none of that. What we're trying to do is merge the nutrients that we would have got from the soil into the system, right? So we have, as I say, coming up and growing along with the system, how we develop it. We started to listen to how people work was. Some people say, boy, we have to get up early in the morning from let me say 5, leave home, we don't return until 5. But they have nobody home to see about the plants. What we gonna do in a situation like that? Now, manually, if they water it, they don't have to worry about it till the evening or the next day. However, some people, although they are away in work, they still want to make sure the plant come on. So now we started to introduce, there was always timers out there, but we tend to go with solenoid valves and stuff like that. So you could control it with your phone from work. We have the sensors that if rainfall, the system wouldn't come on at all. You understand? We have solar systems also installed. So let me just say, living in a place whereby, you know, current affects your area, you could go on a solar system. You don't have to worry about current at all. And you could control, as I said, the system from your phone once we install that Wi-Fi part for you, right? The multi-crop, what happened is, the nice thing about it is that the system itself is designed with one manifold, water manifold, with 3 tiers. So the top tier would have the water manifold. The water will drip down into the second tier, and then from the second tier to the third tier. Now we could drip away after the third tier and waste.
Just now, I feel the jet plane just pass our destination here, right? I heard 1 tier before. Right. Now I'm hearing 3 tiers. So how did that transition come about?
Well, people wanted, when people think about hydroponics, people, you know, tend, but especially with the NFT and stuff, recycling, they tend to have to go with one crop because they can't manage the ppm properly or the pH, right? So when people say, well, Das, we want some kale, or you want pak choy or lettuce, that is 3 different crops with 3 different ppm. So the fastest way to get all these things to grow using one nutrient solution, because the cocoa peat, what we plant in, is more forgiving than actually sending that amount of nutrients concentrated, diluted in the water to go to the plant. we use the cocoa peat to use as a buffer. So the plant use what it have to use. The cocoa peat will hold the rest. Now, what you have to do, as I said, we train people. So after a while, we will use some fresh water and flush the system. So let me say in the morning, your water with nutrients. In the afternoon, your system coming out with regular water. So you don't allow the nitrates to build up in the cocoa peat. So it does not become poisonous or whatever these people refer to as. You understand? The crop will grow just right. The environment for its rooting system will be perfect. Right? So we say from 1 tier to 2 tiers. So some people are asking us, I find like we need more plants, but I don't have enough space.
Right.
I say, okay, but on the same square footage, which is 20 by 12, which is the size of a system, the tokens I want here. They said, Das, we need to have more plants. I said, no problem. A second tier. And they started to like it. And they said, Das.
All right, just now.
Yeah.
Just so you move from 1 tier to 2 tiers now.
To 2 tiers.
Right? Are you using more nutrients?
So, 1 nutrient, correct. So then people was like, you have a grow box below your second tier. I said, well, that's a third level for me. If you all want it, well, we build it accordingly. And more orders started to come in. So just imagine on top of your system, your first tier would be lettuce or pak choy. The second tier would have side, celery, parsley, and fine thyme if you want. And the third tier would have things like shadow benny.
Right. So this 3-tier design was a progression, and finally the 3rd tier coming, that's something you actually did for yourself.
Yeah, that's natural progression. And again, I'm from an R&D background, research and development, research and data, from in hydroponics, from in aquaponics, sorry. Those things were instrumental in where I am today, because everything you have to record data, make sure you make proper entry, how much feed you have to give the fish, measure the fish, weigh these things at a certain time. So I carry across the same bookkeeping habits into the hydroponic. So if I wanted to test something out on the system, I would do it in a small way. Once you do it in a small way and you manage it and get the science down, you could multiply it however, how big you want to go. And that was just my upbringing and my standard operating procedure. And I saw basically how I operate. And again, it is a natural progression.
Okay, so here's what I want to do. I see we have a couple questions in here. Now, this is not a hydroponics training session, right? So we won't go too much into those questions on this forum because it is really entrepreneur spotlight. What we will do now, I am going to share my screen and I'm going to show some pics and videos. And what I want you all to do is just walk us through what we are seeing. All right. Okay, so you all seeing my screen?
Right.
Yes.
Great.
This image actually is a system that exists in front of my house currently. But this is just a cartoon interpretation, but it is exactly what you see here. You see it out in front, right?
Okay. No, I didn't tell you to start explaining.
No, you tell me to start one time, so I listen to you.
All right. Okay.
Whatever come up on your screen, I explain it.
All right. So let us say what's so you're going. All right. Wait. What are you doing now? Oh, you reach quite. Okay, great. So
hi, good day, everyone. This is
right. So basically, this is a hydro farm that I
opened just now. So let me just play this out, and then because this have some audio in it.
Okay.
Right, go ahead.
Okay.
Let me come back.
hi, good day, everyone. This is 3 weeks on your Rosie Lachbel. I'll preview.
All right, so tell us what we are looking at here. what site is this? I'm seeing quite a lot of letters. Give us an idea as to the size, you know, how many systems. Talk us through this one.
Right. So what it is, this particular customer, he was actually, his life was impacted by crime, whereby mistaken identity. Crime reached their home. His dad was murdered, mistaken identity, right? And he wanted to migrate, and he contacted us as a last resort and said, listen, this happened to my dad. We just want to go away. However, we have a piece of land. We want to sell it. You think you could get the land sold from us? So I said, boy, listen, to go right now away to live COVID doesn't make sense right now. It's going to be very hard for you. Whatever little you have, let me set up something you could get an income, because they had own business in front that had to close down through the COVID. And he came all the way from Roselac to check out the system in front. He saw a live demonstration, he saw the product. He went back within the next day. He said, Mr. Das, are you ready to start? I want so by so by so. Now, realistically, he wanted stuff, but in reality, he got this. What he wanted was 8 commercial system. Commercial system at the time, but the materials and stuff were a bit high for him. So I said, listen, don't let that deter you. We will customize the stands that you see, so that later on, when he catches his hand selling and saving, we could add in the second tier. And then when he started to make more revenue, we will add in the third tier for him. So we started him off. Everything is automated. Everything is automatic. We build the sheds, everything. He just leveled the land and we started. We went on, we trained his family. His wife, still a teacher, and mom also, she says about the grandchildren. But when I mean the whole family, does be involved in that family, and it is be an enjoyment for them. We will be in contact with them, if not every day, every 3 days, or every week. They would be hearing from us. He would send pictures. Just day before, what day he called? He was in the market in Macquarie. He said, up on your side here, I came to drop off some orders, and I was just out of curiosity. Asked him, what's the price on the lettuce? He said, you got $12 for one. And the reason why you get $12 for one, while everybody was
just
$12, because $12 for one, because of the quality.
Talking here, so don't just run past that $12 for lettuce quick, because I know some homegrown family done doing max already right now. So all right, so let me just let $12 sink in a little bit. Okay, go ahead now.
So the thing about it was, while we were building this here, we observed an individual about in a 3-story house, a couple buildings down, was observing our movements. After we built, he approached us and he told the guy, listen, this is for hydroponics. He said, that guy informed him he was leaving the country shortly and he had 16 recycling system. Would you take it? So my customer asked me, Mr. Das, what to do? I said, don't be a fool, take it. I said, I will show you how to mitigate that risk, but take it, it is free. So the guy actually came and helped him set it up. I went down, make sure everything was good. And he is pulling out like 2,400 heads of lettuce a week.
All right.
The systems that he got.
Comparison.
Right?
Yeah.
But when he did the comparison now with recycling to the cocoa pit, he actually called me back. He said, Mr. Das, you were right. The one in the cocoa pit is coming much faster. So when I asked him, I said, what do you think was the reason for that? And he said bigger in size also. He said probably how the root was holding, because the other one, the root just, the cup just blow. Because there's nothing to anchor the root on the system he got from the other guy now. It's just really the water and the net cup.
But right? I don't want to do Mr. Das, I don't want to do the whole feature on this one. We have more videos.
Well, run your videos as fast as you put up your videos.
And this is
all right.
So, the gentleman put up.
Next time.
Oh, this is a site, Mr. Dundee. I guess your followers would have known him because you would have interviewed him last week, who was logged on to. Right, this is actually his site there. This is a treated system.
So you're able to see,
the different chardonnay, the celery, the size, the lettuce on top. Right.
Right. Well, I know Mr. Dundee would have given us an explanation on this last week? Right. But for those who might have missed it, tell us some of the other things that going on with this system and area. We know the shed, the water harvesting. Right. Give us a little more on that.
So what happened was by this location here, he had problem for water. Always have problem with water, water connection, sorry. Always have problem with the water. So what we did is incorporate the rain gutter system and run it back to 2 of his tanks. He has 3 tanks and he's going to install two to 3 other tanks again. So what we did, we captured the rain gutter water, we filtered, captured it, and he's actually using it back to mix nutrients and to run a cycle of water every time he uses. So he flush the lines with it also, right? It has impacted him plenty because he don't have to worry about having water there on the land or buying water from the water truck to put in the tank. You understand? Yeah. So what he has also done, he made a request for us to catch back the system, the nutrient. So if you watch to the bottom of the system there, you would see a rack which is open at the very bottom where we have something designed that you wouldn't be able to see with your eyes just so. Because we put the pipes, all the plumbing, every stuff below the ground and just leave an opening so that you could catch back the nutrients. And he has it in a container to the end of the tank, to the left side of the tank. And we moved it and put it to the left side of the tent, sorry. So that every system forward, this system is set up for the addition of 3 more systems. All the plumbing has already been done, everything is automated. The shed has already been built and covered water capture system hooked up. So all of a sudden they have to do is just put up the other 3. But in the meantime, while he's waiting to do that, he implemented some grow bags with some cucumbers, sweet pepper in that space he has there. And it is showing very, very good progress.
All right.
And that's just a month older.
Next video.
This here is
community project.
A community project.
Okay, just now, Mr. Das, I find we only hearing you right through. Mrs. Das, would you walk us through this one?
Come, Mrs. Das.
Okay, so we were contacted by the homegrown family for this one. Take a bow, Kerwin. This was a project that was handed over to the Cashew Garden community, but it really wasn't working for them. The system wasn't functional, and we were asked to come and do a little troubleshooting and see how we could assist them in having it get up and running as soon as possible. So we did that, we evaluated and so on, and this is the outcome. I'm not going to go into much details on the before and so on, but we transitioned their system from a recycling to a drip to waste, and we have been able to automate the system and so forth. They did have, they were set up for solar, but it was underpowered. So it really wasn't working for the system. So as I said, we just went and evaluated the situation and just put in our, we decided that this was the best way for them, the most cost-effective way going forward for them, and for them to get up and running as soon as possible. And actually, even during the COVID time, which kept us back just a couple of weeks or so, they actually have the plants planted out here now. They're so excited. I mean, it's now 6 or 7 days since they've planted, and they're sending us video every day with the growth of the plants. So it is very exciting for us also, and we're just very, very happy for them. Very happy for them.
Bear in mind that was, as she said, a recycling system. If you watch the tables, you would see some traces. We actually use back the pipe. We train the villagers itself how to transform it into our system, to look like our system, and most importantly, function like our system. It was a community project, and Team CASA, homegrown team, also had an instrumental part to play in it. Scenic Solutions had a part to play in it, and Artist Hands Creation, where the groups involved to transform this in a couple of days during the COVID period. All protocols observed, obviously. We only had 5 people on the site, each from each institution. So, and the result was good. It's time that the Cashew Garden got something growing.
This was 3 years in the making for them to get it up and running.
Yeah.
So within a month and a half, we had it organized for them, and they already seen progress.
They
right?
waited 3 years to be handed over. That
And
we went in a month and just changed off everything. Yeah. This
All
year
right.
is actually 3 weeks
Just
old.
now,
And
before you continue, I just want to
Yeah.
drop a little plug. Just to come back to Cashew Gardens, we, by God's grace, we definitely would be doing an interview with Cashew, because we feel that what they are doing in their community is something that really needs to be modeled and duplicated, right? Very
Correct.
proactive, wonderful
Correct.
work. So we want to talk about their recycling project and some of the other things that they are doing there. All right, so Cashew, let's see how we can finalize a day so we can share with our audience and the rest of the family the amazing things you're doing up there. Okay, now we head to Tobago, and this has some audio, so let me play this one.
Shop holder here from the Holders Agro Project, and this is our hydroponic system we planted on the 28th of May, and this is where we are at currently. Our hydroponic system, mid-size system, CASA system, and we are proud owners, and this is our produce so far: our lettuce, celery, chive, shadow bean in the lower level. This hydroponic system have been working tremendous, and we are excited to see we're just about almost ready to reap. Hopefully on next Friday we'll be reaping our 4th week. So we're excited about this, and this is just to encourage all the other persons out there, begin to grow, get growing. Amen.
All right, so talk us through this one.
Well, the bishop said it all, and he's actually a little too excited because this is 3 weeks starting this week, and he called me and said, "Mr. Das, I going on a reap." I said, "But the lettuce need to grow out a little bit." He said, "Mr. Das, that bigger than the lettuce we have in Tobago. I going on a reap." And tell us, "Partner, that is your system. Do what you want. You still have a week and something again to go." He said, no, I going on a reap. So look, this morning we actually sent back seedlings for him from Trinidad, or with somebody we know going across there to hand him it.
You see, he said that the video was done on the 18th, right? Today's the 22nd.
Yeah.
Yesterday he called us and he said he cutting them lettuce. He not waiting until Friday.
Right.
Yeah, he cutting them lettuce. Yeah.
Lettuce look full and nice. Cut your lettuce, man. All right, so Tobago is also classified. Okay, tell us about this one. Is this the original?
I'm not quite sure what to show us here yet.
Just now.
What?
I see it.
You will know just now. Let me see.
Feel like the system in front. Yeah, this is
one in front.
That is the one of the prototype for the 2-tier. When we now came out with the 2-tier system, that is the one that was animated when we guys now start the webinar.
Yeah. Excellent.
Right.
So you see the progression of innovation taking place. Let's see. Okay. Tell us about this picture. I know this was another wonderful initiative, but tell us a little. And
well, basically we were contacted to do a training session at DHL. They say we were keeping with their objective also, the green objective. So they wanted us to come in and do a training session for the workers with the intention of doing a hydro system also. And what we have present here, we had the ASTT president, Mr. Darrell Rampasad, who's also an agronomist.
Yeah, he is.
We have different members present here from the different groups.
So we're associated with Darrell in terms of his as an agronomist for CASA, right? And he happily did the seedling presentation for us here at DHL. So these are some of the participants being able to go home with the seeds that they
planted.
they
on the far left is Mr. Frankie Solomon. Right. He was one of the guys instrumental in me learning the aquaponics. Okay, he was attached recently to the ETIS division. Now he moved on to better things within the agriculture sector, but moved on to better things. I think one of your favorites, the cocoa industry, you know, sort of.
Okay.
So, Frankie, if you're listening, you can correct me.
Yeah.
Right.
All right.
He's also he a lecturer affiliated with CASA on his personal level. Even Mr. Noel Phillip, he's affiliated with CASA after being CASA-fied in Carrera. He is
Right.
part of the CASA family.
Yes. Okay, so let me ask a quick question. So these types of trainings that can be done for corporate entities and other organizations, is CASA still running these types of trainings for folks who may be interested?
Yes, we do, but with the COVID restrictions right now, I mean, once the protocol is adhered to, we would come in and do it. And then we also have virtual session, example, the webinar that you're doing now. We would have virtual session
Okay.
at a later time, of course. That is still to
All
be
right.
decided, right?
Excellent. Okay. This picture, part of the same.
Yeah, that was just the miniature kitchen system with the covering, of course, demonstrating to the DHL workers on how the operation is, so they could get a visual. Sitting down in a classroom and teaching people about hydroponic, it tends to get monotonous. So what CASA decided, and my approach is, I can't sit down in a classroom wholly and teach something or learn something when somebody teaches. I rather just show me it physically. I would pick up on it. My mind is different. So that when people see it physically working and they hear about it, and while building it, you teach them how to build, you explain to them the working components, you explain to them about nutrients, they would have a reference point when you go into the classroom, right? If you notice, all our systems are covered, and the reason being, and it is covered with UV plastic, and the reason for that is not because of the sun, it's because of the rain. We don't want the rain to affect your growing and with the flood, because obviously it's raised, so that during rainy season, you would have the same amount of production just as dry season, right?
So I was gonna add that we
Yeah.
also implement that when we do a system for a customer, right? The same sort of teaching mechanism he just went through there that we would do for a corporate entity and so forth, we do for individuals as well. So, you know, they also learn the process, the science behind it. They learn how to operate the system, you know, troubleshooting, the whole aspect of it. So, you know, they go through, our customers go through a whole tutorial also while the system is being built and after it has been built.
And they would be uploaded onto a database so that we would be calling and reminding them at certain dates, you need to check up on the tanks that you have. You know, just a gentle reminder, they would send us some pictures for we to diagnose, and if need be, we would appear on the site, but we would always be with them, working with them, showing them that this is an experience, this could work, this is working, and you know, depending on the size you want to go, you would have an income coming in.
All right,
so not just supplying yourself, but other people also.
One of the hydro farms that CASA would have successfully done.
You need me to comment on this, Colin?
This is just CASA being endorsed also, and we were at the site in Rosilac here again.
You would see the city president to your left, Land and Fisheries representative, Mr. Lala Harinarayan. He's in the middle. That's me there, and this lady endorsing our stuff here.
Project that as a business developer, I would have.
So here we have a blank page.
Yes.
With a pause sign. After comment on this?
No, sir. That was supposed to be. Let me see. Where did that last video go? Anyway, that's probably another little technical issue there. So we would, all right. So where are we with time? We are now a little cross the hour of 3 o'clock. All right, let me see if I could just run through some of the comments we have here. Well, as I said, we will answer some of these questions in subsequent sessions where we actually focus on the teaching. I see someone's hand is up. Mr. Clark, go ahead, sir.
Yes. I'm like, I am so sorry for being late. As I had a major Zoom conference with the Windrush, with the people who from the Caribbean went to migration back in the 50s.
Yes, you have a question?
Oh, I was saying I'm so sorry to be late because I had a major appointment with Zoom. I had a Zoom meeting for the Windrush people who came from the Caribbean to the UK back in the 50s.
That's okay.
All right.
That's okay, Mr. Clark.
Cool, I'm sure you're gonna have the recording that
Yes. Right. Let's see what other questions we have here. Good day. Will there be a course showing you how to start a system? Yes, we definitely would be doing some more training specific with respect to the hydroponics. All right.
I want to know what you could grow and not grow in the hydroponic system.
So you all want to take that question before we close off?
Sure.
Yeah, sure. So in hydroponics, to me, we could grow almost anything. So all your leafy greens, vegetables, like your lettuce, pak choy, chive, celery, your mince, your rosemary, they could grow in the pipe system we have. Your bearing crops production that you want, which is your bygone tomatoes, cucumbers, your bodi, your same, your cabbage, carrots, we do in a bucket, right? And we do single stem practice, or we could do with a trellis to help, or the stick to help it upright.
And the strawberries.
Right? And you could do the strawberries in the pipe. Like I say, once you understand nutrients, the nutrient, what the plant needs, and at what stage also, you can grow stuff, right?
Okay, excellent. So folks, we are already past the hour of 3 o'clock. I know we had a little late of a start. However, I think this was an excellent session. It will not be the last session that we do. All right. We thank CASA not just for participating, but for the love and passion that they have for agriculture. And what I would like everyone here to get out of this session as well is that we in Trinidad and Tobago are just as capable as anybody else of being innovators. All right. It is not enough just to look at problems and complain, but we should be looking for solutions, looking at solutions, becoming innovators ourselves, and being able to add value to our nation, our people, our families. So here's what I want to do very quickly, again, in the entrepreneurial vein. Let me know what is your best experience and what you might consider your worst or most challenging experience so far as an entrepreneur team. So the best and the worst.
The best is, again, for me, this is just me, with the upbringing from humble beginning, helping people, taking something and making it work, making it functioning with the limited resources around you and getting that result. Seeing people respond to what you teach them and seeing what they send for you, Mr. Das, thanks, your advice work. That does give me the motivation to go on. And, they actually would invite you along to little functions for you to actually impart more knowledge, broaden your
No,
horizon.
you journey with them.
You journey with them.
You journey with them. It's not just you build a system and you pass it along to a client or something like that. They are a part of the CASA family, and they treat it as such. They treat us as such because, as he said, it's the love of the agriculture, the enthusiasm that he has is infectious, right? And I mean, it goes a long way. It goes a long way. When people see the truth behind your product and what it is you're trying to do, what you're trying to, help them do, or it helps. It really goes a long way.
With respect to the worst experience, I would think it was just recently. I had brought on a business developer to work in the company, with the company. And it's sad to say that the person took all our ideas, our information, and started her own company. She didn't know nothing about hydroponics before or anything like that. She took our specs, everything we was doing an e-manual for, and they went ahead and they were calling it CASA at one point until I put a stop to it. Now, we wish them all the best in the future with their endeavor, but we have nothing to do with whatever effort they're trying to make. But I mean, as you rightfully see in the advertisement, when you want the best, you contact the original, which is CASA. And I mean, we wish them all the best. People could come into your life. It's not what they do to you, it's how you get up from that situation. And again, it opened our eyes. It opened our eyes to, as this webinar you had IPO with IPO and stuff. We learned a lot because of this bad experience. And I am almost certain it would not ever happen again. I am almost certain.
Right? And I think that is a great note for us to close off on. Listen, we are entrepreneurs. It is challenging, but I would ask people, what in life is easy? Whatever you want to pursue, it comes with a measure of challenge. And the stories we fall in love with, the stories that we are motivated by, most times come from people who have been challenged and were able to get up and overcome. And I know even as innovators, because we might have some more innovators on the chat with us, there can be that fear that, oh my gosh, what if, I spend all these years, all this time innovating and somebody come and try to steal my idea. What I would say to that is don't stop. Don't stop innovating. Don't stop working. However, also get wisdom. And one resource we have down here in Trinidad and Tobago, as mentioned, is the intellectual property office. They are very open, and they understand the process and what is in the heart of an entrepreneur. All right, so you want advice on your design, on this idea that you have, go into them. Okay, get some advice, but don't give up. We are one family. We are all overcomers. Let us try to work together. Let us collaborate instead of trying to fight down each other in this type of competition. So CASA family, homegrown family, all the folks that would have learned from and been impacted by CASA over the years, let us keep growing, right? Let's keep showing that love, and you all have a great and wonderful week.
Before your part, it should be noted, and Mr. Philip could probably vouch for me here. This is the first interview I've ever done. This is the first time people are saying CASA with a face, right? I don't take pictures of myself or anything like that. So again, because it's homegrown, and I know you share the same passion that I do for agriculture, it's about time now, according to the wife, show your face, come out from the shadows and show your face. You understand? Because I do a lot of work in the background. I don't like the putting up the picture and stuff. There's one or two pictures on the Facebook profile because the customers would set up, we would post it up for them just to get them a little exposure. However, you wouldn't see me in it starring or anything like that. I just like working in the background. So probably, who knows, if you have our next webinar, I would be there. The wife will take the interview. If need be, I'd be there, I would take it. But this is the first of such. I should inform you of that. Consider
Well,
it.
it is indeed an honor, right? And because it's the first time, I will also excuse your little bull-facedness.
Yeah, that's all right.
Right? Oh God, somebody say always listen to your wife. All right.
Listen, I'm a big man. I just always listen to my wife.
Right? Watch. All of we married men is big men together. So
Yeah.
But it's about the work. For us, it's about the work. It's not about the praises
Yes.
and all this type of thing. It's about the work. That's why most of what we do, we just let the people endorse us so that they can tell about their experience.
Remember, agriculture is not just toiling in the soil, it's our experience. That is what we're trying to create in people, leave that impression. Agriculture must be an experience now, right?
Okay.
And exciting when you see exciting, very exciting.
All right. Well, folks, this has brought us to the end, the very end. I keep saying, sometimes I'll be like a pastor, only closing and I can't finish, but this is really it here. So everyone, once again, a blessed day, a blessed week. And as you would always hear us say at Homegrown, let's get what?
Growing.
Growing. All right. Blessings, everyone. Look out for the recording.